All right, first we'll start with the highlights, and then we'll just skim through the debate. Let's hear what the highlights were.
Doesn't really understand government. The governor doesn't build housing in New York City.
Not if it's you.
No, legally, there are jurisdictions. The governor doesn't pick up trash. He doesn't run the fire department. That's what the mayor does. The mayor builds housing. The state allocates funding for localities. And I allocated more funding for housing than any governor in the history of the state of New York.
Man, Cuomo is such a piece of shit. You lost fair and square in the Democratic primary. You lost fair and square, you piece of shit. Jesus Christ. How come the Democrats have not got back? They're not back in the Democratic nomination. You're supposed to vote blue no matter who, right? Vote blue no matter who. So you got one Democrat that's actually standing on the stage. One person who won the Democratic primary. And one Republican. And then Cuomo's running as a fucking independent. Why? Because he's a sore loser? Because he's a fucking prick? Because he's not a good Democrat, because Mamdani actually represents the working class. He wants living standards to increase. Remember, they were all talking about under Joe Biden inflation. All the prices in America have gone up. All the fucking prices. All of them. And healthcare is abysmal.
All right? I did things. You have never had a job. You've never accomplished anything. There's no reason to believe you have any merit or qualification for 8.5 million lives. You don't know.
That's fucking crazy. He's a city council. He's a city councilman. So that's a job. And then what's Cuomo's job? What's his claim to fame? Was he goddamn shoveling shit in Louisiana?
How to run a government, you don't know how to handle an emergency, and you've literally never proposed a bill on anything that you're not talking about in your campaign. You had the worst attendance record in the assembly, and you gave yourselves the highest raise in the United States of America. You went from $110,000 to $140,000, and then you never showed up for work, and you missed 80% of the votes. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Good evening. Thank you to the moderators, and thank you to New Yorkers for tuning in. I know you'd rather be watching the Knicks. While there are 3 candidates on this stage, you will hear only 2 messages. My opponents, who spend more time trying to convince the other to drop out than actually proposing their own policies, will speak only of the past, because that's all that they know. I am the sole candidate running with a vision for the future of this city. Andrew Cuomo will spend much of tonight attacking me. He is a desperate man, lashing out because he knows that the one thing he's always cared about, power, is now slipping away from him. He will amplify right-wing talking points, he will share conspiracy theories, and he will do these things to make you feel that this should keep you up at night. But I've been spending the last year listening to New Yorkers, and I know what actually keeps you up. It's whether or not you can afford to live a safe and dignified life in this city. I have plans for our future. My opponents only have fear.
So he is known as a socialist. Mamdani is known as a socialist, but he's only got like 3 or 4 sort of radical planks. He wants free childcare. So, you know, why should you have to lose all your money to pay for a babysitter? It's almost like, should I get a job and give all my money to a babysitter? It's almost like you should just stay home yourself. Well, where's the money going to come from? Childcare, so universal childcare. He was also talking about groceries, government-owned grocery stores. Free busing, so free busing. Should be free subways too. Free subway, free busing. I mean, more transportation. People get to jobs, more trade, more goods and services. Transportation in a city, like that's pretty important. And I forget what the other one was. I think there's 4 like radical issues, but that's what makes me like him. It's because he's going to try something. He's going to actually try something. You know, the damn maggots are talking about working class people, but they don't actually apply any working class programs. They don't have any solutions to help the working class out. You're going to strengthen unions. You're going to have UBI checks. What are you going to do? Universal health care. What are you going to do? He's going to, you know, free busing and government-owned grocery stores, which is genius. That's absolute genius, because food, water, shelter, these are human rights. You don't have any life. We're guaranteed life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, says the Declaration of Independence. But without life, you don't have liberty or the pursuit of happiness. So what guarantees life? At the very least, food, water, clothing, shelter.
We first just heard from the Republican candidate for mayor, and then we heard from Donald Trump's puppet himself, Andrew Cuomo. You could turn on TV any day of the week, and you will hear Donald Trump share that his pick for mayor is Andrew Cuomo. And he wants Andrew Cuomo to be the mayor, not because it will be good for New Yorkers, but because it will be good for him. Look, Donald Trump ran on 3 promises. He ran on creating the single largest deportation force in American history. He ran on going after his political enemies. And he ran on lowering the cost of living. If he wants to talk to me about the 3rd piece of that agenda, I will always be ready and willing. But if he wants to talk about how to pursue the 1st and 2nd piece of that agenda at the expense of New Yorkers,
President Trump has to respect you. He sent the National Guard into 20 cities. City he didn't send it into? New York. Because I talked to him and I said, we don't need you here.
Okay, so he is pretty much bought and sold. You know, he's a maggot. Trump. He's talking to Trump. He's talking to the billionaire class. He's like the old bastion of the conservative Democrats that are trying to hold on to whatever. He's appealing to the independents and the Republicans. So he's kind of mocking the Sliwa, the Republican candidate, by being in the race. He's like, oh, I want to get the conservatives. They're going to vote for, you know, a Democrat in name only over an actual fucking Republican. So his entire candidacy, it's just such bullshit because he's a fucking cheater. And yeah, okay, I guess you could, you know, apparently there's a loophole. If you lose the Democrat primary, then you could run as an independent in New York. They have ranked choice voting. And so that's actually supposed to make things a little bit nicer, but ultimately you're only going to have one victor, right? Winner take all.
He has said he'll take over New York if Mamdani wins, and he will, because he has no respect for him. He thinks he's a kid and he's going to knock him on his tuchus. Yeah, the difference on this question is I've actually lived it, and I've done it with President Trump over many years through the most difficult situation that this country has gone through.
I remember Chris Cuomo talking about Palestine. He's like, I know why you're on the side of Palestinians. It's because you're on the side of the oppressed. And that was supposed to deactivate us, and then he's supposed to, you know, explain to us why. That was a huge issue with this. You know, Mamdani was, not only is he socialist, talking about working class programs that will actually help with the cost of living, it will help bring costs down, but he was also saying that he's not beholden to Israel. He's not going to, you know, fly off to Israel on the first fucking day of the goddamn, you're the mayor of New York City. Why would the mayor of New York City, why would all those candidates out of all the countries in the world that they could fly to, they would want to go to Israel first? Well, I just won New York City, you know, the mayorship of New York City. Time to go to Israel. Why? Why would that be? And Mamdani said that Israel had a right to exist, but he also said that he believes not in a theocracy, but he believes in a state that would respect human rights.
Through COVID plus. You're wrong. You're going to have to confront President Trump. He is hyper-aggressive, and he is going to overstep his bounds. And you are going to have to confront him. And you can beat him. I confronted him, and I have beaten him. He was going to quarantine New York during COVID, and I stopped him. He was going to cut aid to federal programs, and I stopped him. But you also want to be in a place where you can cooperate on good things, because we need federal help if we're going to save our city and rebuild our city.
Mr. Cuomo, in 2021, 13 different women.
So there he just absolutely admits that he's on the phone with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is endorsing Cuomo. So that should tell you something. Donald Trump isn't going to endorse the Republican. Why wouldn't he side with the Republican? Evan Reagan's like 11th commandment, never speak ill of any Republican. He's endorsing Cuomo. That tells you a lot. That tells you a lot.
Women who worked in your administration credibly accused you of sexual harassment. Since then, you have spent more than $20 million in taxpayer funds to defend yourself, all while describing these allegations as entirely political.
Chris Cuomo, he had said he's Italian. You know, I'm Italian, you know, so I get all handsy and I like kissing people and I get handsy, you know, it's not harassment. I'm an Italian, hey, pepperoni pizza, hey.
You have even gone so far as to legally go after these women. One of those women, Charlotte Bennett, is here in the audience this evening. You sought to access her private gynecological records. She cannot speak up for herself because you lodged a defamation case against her.
Hey, I'm Italiano. Hey, Italiano. Hey, he never watched The Godfather. He says he made sure he never watched any of those stereotypical.
I, however, can speak. What do you say to the 13 women that you sexually harassed?
You should apologize.
So today's the day.
You think he'll go with the I'm an Italian? How's he going to respond to that?
And they did tell.
If you want to be in government, then you have to be serious and mature. There were allegations of sexual harassment. They went to 5 district attorneys, fully litigated for 4 years. The cases were dropped, right? You know that as a fact. So everything you just said was a misstatement, which we're accustomed to.
Everything that I stated was a misstatement?
Yes, because the cases were dropped. That's what happened. And my question to you still didn't answer. Why won't you say BDS against Uganda?
He didn't, goddamn motherfucking. He didn't answer the question. What do you say to those women that you sexually harassed? You know, what happened to the I'm Italian thing, you know? I'm Italian, we're touchy-feely, we like to make out with, you know, anybody we come across and feel them up and give them a nice pat on the ass, you know? I'm old school. Sometimes you just got to give a woman a nice little pat on the tuchus, on the fanny, and say, you know, good girl, good going, woman. Get in there and go make them copies.
It's saying gays should be imprisoned for being gay.
Okay.
You have no problem with BDS against Israel, but no BDS for Uganda.
Excuse me, Mr. Cuomo, it's my turn, all right? It's like 2 kids in a schoolyard.
Yeah, I heard you on the radio this morning.
John, this is personal for me. I know you are under threat. The mother of my 2 youngest sons who are raised Jewish, Melinda Katz, is prosecuting this person who came up and tried to do you harm. But let me speak on behalf of my 2 sons. When they've heard some of the statements you've made, like in support of global jihad, and I hear some people out there saying the Jews, their time is due, which means the same thing. They're frightened, they're scared. They view you as the arsonist who fanned the flames of anti-Semitism. They cannot suddenly accept the fact that you're coming in like a firefighter and you're going to put out these flames. You've got a lot of explaining to do, a lot of apologizing to do. My sons are afraid. Their family, their friends, many in the Jewish community are concerned if you can become mayor because they don't think when anti-Semitism rears its ugly head, which it's now doing more than ever before, that you will have the ability to come in and put out those flames of hate.
Why do we have billionaires? Why do we even have billionaires? The whole point in making a great society, I heard there's one, they would test and say, the only thing, there's a tyrant, a despot, I forget what if it was a pope or something, but they said that the only test that a tyrant needs to do is this good for the health of the nation? Is this good for the health of the nation? If it's good for the health of the nation, then you could do it. If it's good for the mind, body, spirit of the nation, of the people, then you're allowed to do it.
I've heard the both of them again fighting like kids in the schoolyard. Zoran, your resume could fit on a cocktail napkin, and Andrew, your failures could fill a public school library in New York City.
You know, not everything is a TikTok video. You're the savior of the Jewish people. You won't denounce globalize the intifada, which means kill Jews. There's unprecedented fear in New York. It was not several rabbis, Errol. It was 650 rabbis. Okay.
This is such stupid. We're sick of the fucking anti-Semitic fucking goddamn ranting bullshit. Palestinians are semantic, so you motherfuckers were okay with the genocide? You're okay with the fucking genocide, you fucking genocidal fucking fucks? You motherfuckers, you're against the oppressed. You're not just against the oppressed in Palestine, you're against the oppressed in America too. Anything that you thought that was okay to do to Palestine, you think it's okay to do to poor and working class and homeless people. You motherfuckers don't give a shit. It's a goddamn oligarchy. It's a big club and we ain't in it. It's an aristocracy, a kakistocracy. Ruled by the fucking few, the rich, plutocracy, the stealing, thieving ass fucking goddamn... Yeah, ask a rich man how he made his money. If he says through hard work, then ask him whose. Whose hard labor? Yours? You know you ain't fucking working hard. You're telling other people to work hard and then you're gonna fucking stiff them on their contractor fees.
who signed the letter, not several. Protest, demonstrate, disagree, God bless America, God bless New York City. And there is no doubt that there's two sides on what's going on and the passions are very high. That doesn't justify anti-Semitic behavior in New York. It doesn't justify having a Jewish population that feels unprotected in New York.
I have no idea if Mamdani has said anything against Jewish people, but I know that my stance is pretty simple. I'm consistent with the American, way, the American way. The Bill of Rights, First Amendment, says you have a right to religion. You don't have a right to crime, but you have a right to religion. So it's not against the Jewish people, it's against the Zionists, it's against the genocidal fucking Zionists, it's against this government of Israel, Netanyahu. It's got nothing to do with the Jewish people.
It doesn't justify leaders who stoke the flames of hatred against Jewish people, which is what Zoran does, in my opinion.
Zoran, this is personal for me. I know you are under threat. The mother of my two youngest sons who are raised Jewish, Melinda Katz, is prosecuting this person who came up and tried to do you harm. But let me speak on behalf of my two sons. When they've heard some of the statements you've made, like in support of global jihad, and I hear some people out there saying the Jews, their time is due, which means the same thing. They're frightened, they're scared. They view you as the arsonist who fanned the flames of anti-Semitism.
Is this the exact same thing? Did he just repeat himself over and over again? He's just saying the same fucking thing.
They cannot suddenly accept the fact that you're coming in like a firefighter and you're going to put out these flames. You've got a lot of explaining to do, a lot of apologizing to do. My sons are afraid. Their family, their friends, many in the Jewish community are concerned if you become mayor because they don't think when anti-Semitism rears its ugly...
So this Oni India, are they going to let Mamdani respond to any of these fucking crazy attacks?
...head, which it's now doing more than ever before, that you will have the ability to come in and put out those flames of hate.
Okay. Yeah, you can.
I think there is room for disagreement on many positions and many policies, but I also want to correct the record. I have never, not once, spoken in support of global jihad. That is not something that I have said, and that continues to be ascribed to me, and frankly, I think much of it has to do with the fact that I am the first Muslim candidate to be on the precipice of winning this election. Now, all the same, Curtis, I do still want to be the mayor that will keep your sons safe, that will keep every single New Yorker safe. And it is my job to not only deliver on that commitment, but also to ensure that New Yorkers feel it every single day that they live in this city.
There you go. So let's take a look
I'm
at
going to have the NYPD step in and stop them, because this is not their jurisdiction. You're in the city of New York.
Okay. Mr. Mamdani.
ICE is a reckless entity that cares little for the law and even less for the people that they're supposed to serve. What we need to be doing here in our city is to end the chapter of collaboration between City Hall and the federal government, which we've seen under Mayor Adams. What we need to do is actually pass the street vending reform bills that have been in the city council, some of which that this mayor has actually overridden. That's an example of how we can both protect street vendors, ensure quality of life, and lead
1%.
One interesting idea that Cuomo had presented was something about the subway. The subway should be under the control of New York City.
They must stop giving conservatives this free gold Trump survivor coin. Start.
This man never even proposed a bill on housing or education. Never even proposed a bill.
Let's keep going back and forth between the two of you. Mr. Sleewer, it's your turn.
Andrew, you didn't leave. You fled from being impeached by the Democrats in the state legislature. You fled. But let's get back on topic, because I'm the only candidate up here who's been into many of the over 300 Department of Homeless Services shelters, and the family shelters are unsafe for the families there. We have to make them safer. We have to bring teachers into the shelter. Many times, the mothers or the guardian have to get on bus after bus and take them to a school that's 2 or 2.5 hours away. This is a horror situation that's taking place. And we have to prioritize this because this number of homeless children is going to grow. It takes 5 years to build affordable housing. We need to address it in the shelters itself to be able to handle it so that the teachers can come in, whether they're public school teachers, charter school teachers, and I know there are a number of parochial school teachers who love children who would volunteer their efforts.
So one good thing about having Curtis and Cuomo both attack Mamdani is the front runner. Mamdani is like kicking ass when it comes to the polls. He's like polling at 40% or something. Then second place is 20%. And then Curtis is way the fuck back with like 3%, something crazy. So, I mean, Curtis has been running in New York as the Republican candidate for the past, fucking 20 years?
Or no's or truth. Don't be a politician.
I got it. They're pointing out what I was about to answer the question.
No, I think on the stage you can see two people appealing for the Republican Party's votes, and myself.
Answer the question. Answer the question for once.
My question to you was, do you support the 3 ballot amendment questions?
I have not yet taken a position on those ballot amendments.
Oh, what a shocker.
All right.
What a shocker.
We're gonna
Don't
move
worry,
on.
once he takes it, he'll change it anyway.
We're going to move it on. We're going to move on. The candidates, the rhetoric on the campaign trail has become more heated in recent weeks. We have reached a point where 2 of the candidates on stage here tonight have armed security. I would like to spend a few minutes to see if we can dial down the rhetoric. Mr. Mamdani, some Jewish New Yorkers continue to say that your comments on Israel and the war in Gaza leave them feeling unsafe and concerned about their future in our city. Recently, several prominent New York rabbis took the unusual step of denouncing your candidate.
Unethical. Meanwhile, you also have strained relations with Governor Hochul, State Attorney General Letitia James, and others. What would you say right now to New Yorkers who have questions about your moral compass and concerns that you cannot effectively work with other elected officials?
Yeah, well, first, you somewhat misstated the facts, but I resigned because there was allegations made. I didn't want to waste the time and distract state government. I knew it was going to take a long time to sort out. I left, which I thought was respectful to state government. We sorted it out legally. Nothing came from any of the allegations. I was dropped from the cases. You know that. We've had this discussion 4 times, but you like to talk about the past rather than yesterday. I chose Governor Kathy Hochul for any of that.
If you suspect a market crash is around the corner, I'm here to tell you that your suspicions are correct.
Well, we can't speak for her. She's not here. But I will ask the public safety question, and we'll start with you, Mr. Sliwa. The issues of crime and disorder on the streets. The NYPD says the crime is going down in all major categories, most major categories. But to New Yorkers, they're still concerned with disorder and their own unique perception of crime. Do you think addressing quality of life concerns helps prevent more serious crimes? And how would you deploy the city's police force to deal with those serious violent crimes and also quality of life offenses like disorderly conduct and retail theft? Mr. Sliwa.
First off, I've been in all 350 neighborhoods. I'm the only candidate that's on the subway each and every day. I've yet to hear from one New Yorker who said they feel safer either in the subways or the streets. And Eric Adams constantly heckling at us like it's the perception. No, it's the reality of crime. We need 7,000 police officers. We are badly understaffed. We need to get police officers in the subways actually patrolling the moving cars where people are most threatened and most frightened. And we need to bring back the homeless outreach unit that was disbanded when de Blasio took $1 billion
of where they feel least safe, they will often tell me the subway system. And when they explain those moments to me, what they are often explaining is a mental health crisis in our city and a crisis of homelessness that has only continued to grow. And that is why, at the heart of our public safety agenda, is a groundbreaking proposal to not only reduce crime, but address these very moments of unease for New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs by creating a Department of Community Safety that will be focused on the mental health crisis, focused on homelessness, and will ensure that police officers can focus on serious crimes. Because in 2020, the response time for those officers was less than 11 minutes. Today, it's closer to 16 minutes. And that's because every year, they are now responding to 200,000 mental health calls when those are calls that could by and large be taken by experts trained on responding to that very crisis.
Thank you, Mr. Cuomo.
The answer is always a new government agency. It's manage the system, manage the public safety system. We know how.
To accept Mayor Adams' endorsement. Mr. Mamdani.
No.
Mr. Cuomo.
Yes, I would.
Mr. Sliwa.
Absolutely not. Put that crook in jail where he belongs.
And final, a fun one.
Be careful.
What is your favorite live music venue in New York City, Mr. Sliwa?
Oh, chain smokers. EDM.
Under the K Bridge, I presume.
That's right, the Kosciuszko Bridge.
Mr. Mamdani.
Forest Hill Stadium.
Mr. Cuomo.
Under the Kosciuszko Bridge.
Have you seen a show under the K Bridge?
Pay for...
Whoever invented this deserves a raise. Back in 2021, we had to put furniture together.
For basic supplies. You cut at the top, contracts that have been negotiated, that have not been overseen, you will save millions and millions of dollars. And yes, you open up the schools as it was when I went to public school, after school center, night center, weekend center, not just sports, but culture, plays.
And are you better off cutting your losses? That's the question in the discussion. And you sit down
on the stage who took Indian Point offline. That was 25% of our electrical output. We haven't been able to meet the needs since, and as a result, they're now starting to build, because of the city of yes that I'm opposed, these lithium-ion battery warehouses. Where? Staten Island 38, Brooklyn 12, 8 in Queens, 4 in the Bronx, and none in Manhattan? Oh no. They're going to electrify, and they don't have the electrical output. So I say no to Local 97. And when I'm mayor, I tell all my commissioners, throw a monkey wrench into the process. We slow it down because we want these condo owners and co-op owners to stay.
Mr. Cuomo, you were name checked on Indian Point?
I think I was. Indian Point was a danger. It was the, then on that basis, is that a yes?
To 30 for its own public.
Is that's the minimum that a New Yorker needs to be paid to be able to afford to live in this city. And what we are looking at right now is the possibility of the place that we know and love becoming a museum of where working class people used to be able to live. Our proposal that we've put forward would be phased in over a longer period of time for small business owners to ensure that they could deal with this. And it's also one that we are confident we would be able to accomplish because of the fact that we are seeing from New Yorkers time and time again, the absence of it is pushing them to live in Jersey City, to live in Pennsylvania, to live in Connecticut, because they can't afford to live in New York City.
Thank you. And for Mr. Sliwa and Mr. Cuomo, if you're not in favor of a $30 minimum wage, what are your plans to raise the salaries of workers in New York City? We'll start with you, Mr. Sliwa.
First off, Zoran Mamdani deals with fantasy, not reality. Look at all the Uber drivers. Look at all the taxi drivers, the Lyft drivers. They will now have driverless cars. That's what they're pushing. AI that's going to be wiping out so many jobs, especially for young men and women who went to school, got their 4 years of college, 2-year degree, and they're making $155,000, and then they get wiped out. You know what the corporate sector is going to do. They're going to bring in robotics. Zoran, stop dealing with fantasy and start dealing with reality. You're pushing businesses out because you want to tax them. I'm the only one here who wants to cut the corporate taxes, the income tax, the property tax we can cut in order to keep business here. But if you raise the minimum wage too high, they're going to end up going in a different direction, and they're not going to hire workers. It's going to be robots and driverless cars and AI, and I'm opposed to that.
Thank you, Mr. Cuomo.
Yeah, I half agree with Curtis. Zoran does have socialist theory colliding with practical reality. I went through this. We raised the minimum wage to the highest in the United States of America. New York set the bar. We set it at $15. Every other state said, that's crazy when we did it. People in the state said that was crazy when we did it. But it was calibrated, it was doable. We phased it in different parts of the state. We phased it in with small businesses. We gave them assistance. Because if you raise it too high, and I believe 30 is too high, I would raise it to 20. If you raise it to too high, you do two things. People lose their jobs. You bankrupt the businesses. You're talking about basically doubling payroll. And you can have a negative effect where literally businesses close and people lose their jobs. And overall, again, it's another tax on corporations, another reason to leave New York, another reason to pack up the family and get on I-95 and go to South Carolina and Florida and Texas.
Hey, Tony, why should people come to the AI Advantage Summit November 6th, 7th, and 8th?
It's a good ad, isn't it? Pretty simple. I'll tell you what it really is. We're in a situation where it happens once in a generation. I think you know it. With AI, you're in a situation where there are tools that can accelerate your success massively, but if you don't know them, they'll cost you. We're in the most competitive time in human history, and I think most people think of AI as something that you just go to for a chat box. But today, as you know, there's tools. You're not going to be replaced by AI. You're going to be replaced by a person who knows how to use AI, what I call the AI advantage. Or if you have a small business or medium-sized business, there are tools right now that cost you next to nothing that can immediately leverage you. Take away all the redundant things that make you crazy and save you a huge amount of time, but also, even more importantly, make you more successful, more profitable. So we got together and decided we're going to do 3 days, 2 hours a day. We're going to bring you the best experts in the world, not just the big players, those two, the Mark Benioffs, people like that, but also the people that day-to-day we've been interviewing that are taking AI and using it in a really practical way to get results. What do you say to people? What should they go?
They're going to show you the old way of doing it, the new way of doing it, and how you could adopt it and adapt it into your business to go faster. You know you don't have 18 months. You might not even have 12. You have the next 3 months to make sure you have the AI capabilities to dive in, and it's exactly what we create.
All right. Candidates, we are coming down the hall.